let's get a check on what's playing out in the crypto market. Now we're seeing it's mostly green in the crypto market. We're still seeing new highs, but Bitcoin taking a breather there, but still $98,777. And Ethereum, deep red, the king of the altcoins, XRP, doing really well. Let's look at the fear greed index that shows how investors feel. And yeah, 94 points. Extreme greed, that's what we're seeing in the market right now. We know how some investors like to use this indicator. Let's look at the top headlines now. I would say the UK is set to finalize crypto regulatory framework, and the announcement was made during the city's Financial and Global Tokenization Summit that held in London. The timeline follows a delay caused by a general election earlier this year, which brought a change in government. And we've seen XRP hitting a new high, about 71% up so far. Then we also had that Gary Gensler resignation news yesterday, so that might be propping up the market like we see today. Let's bring in Gilbert Jopata now, financial market analyst. Hello, Gilbert.
Yeah, greetings, Mr. Ladi. Good afternoon.
Yeah, so I guess the euphoria is getting stronger and stronger. This bullish euphoria, we're seeing extreme greed in the market right now. I don't know what the expectations. I don't know. It's still bullish, right?
It looks like it's another day, another all-time high for Bitcoin.
Right.
Bitcoin keeps soaring and creating new all-time high. My own exchange right now, it's at 99,400, but in most exchanges, they have hit the 100,000 milestone. I don't know if you're aware of this.
Wow. And so multiple prices in different exchanges at this point.
Yes, it's more like an arbitrage price right at the moment, because different multiple prices on different exchanges. But then we haven't gotten to that consensus $100,000 where all the multiple exchanges, hit that mark. And so it's more of a question of, will Bitcoin, have a consensus, $100,000, a consensus of $100,000? And I think that's yes. This will happen in a matter of hours or just days from now. And you also know momentum drives the rally. Of course, I still expect short-term corrections. There remain a possibility in the bull market. Short-term correction is always part of it. But we remain bullish on a 1 month. Price awareness is growing. The more price become like something that speculators stock of, the more persons also rush into the market. And one of the most prominent factor propelling Bitcoin surge is also institutional interest, particularly through the ETF. And then another significant factor is that of the Donald Trump pro-crypto stance, which he made several promises, including making regulatory changes, appointing as well more crypto pro officials, and then a national Bitcoin reserve. So all of these are propelling Bitcoin to these multiple new highs, even though this is a bull market.
Right. We've been hearing about this bull market for the longest time now, but there are different kinds of investors right now. There's some that've been on the sideline holding on to cash. This is not the market for them right now, right?
Our generation, we love volatility. This, I would not say same if I was from the older generation. The older generation don't love large volatility. But then I also think that most persons who may not like this kind of volatility, probably because they are from the older age, actually understand what we are doing, but they are not self-aware of what we are doing, because inflation is highly on the rise. And so, risks always come through the kind of profit you will make. So what I mean is more like is the kind of risks you take is synonymous to the kind of profits that you will as well make. So we are in an inflationary driven environment. And so the younger generation understand that what they need to make, the kind of profit they need to make, need to be able to match the devaluing power of their currency. And so, yes, I understand that this is not the best of time to have been in the market, especially those who have been following this show. They would have known when we started discussing how it was early period investors already entering in, when we discussed about having a margin of safety. But then I still think it's my view that the bull market is still early. This is still the early phase of the bull market, and all investors who are on the sideline need to look for is a good entry level. That will be part of the more rally that I expect to still come in.
Because some would argue that there's not much, profit ahead right now for Bitcoin at these levels, and maybe at some point the only way might be down?
Okay, no, personally, for me, it's my view, Bitcoin is still very, very undervalued, and Bitcoin is going to be way more valued than gold in the future. So their perspective to all of this, if you're looking at the longer term, when we started this journey in the cryptocurrency space, this is history. At a time where countries will already be preparing for their Bitcoin reserve stockpile, where we'll see regulatory framework being built for this. So when you're able to look at the future and understand that Bitcoin is digital gold, you see how very undervalued it is. But then if we are looking for profit potential for this bull market, I actually think that Bitcoin still have some nice profit level it's still going to get into. But then, of course, the more bigger the price, you understand that the kind of amplified return that asset will come with will always be low. But don't also forget that Bitcoin giving you more like a nice and decent return also means that the risk it comes with is not very, very high. So for investors who want to be exposed to more risks, they could dive into other cryptocurrencies, but Bitcoin comes with more of a promise of safety as well profits.
All right, we'll see if Bitcoin still has more legs in this bull run. Thank you so much, Gilbert Opata. Always great having your perspective.
Yeah, thanks for having me.